Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a theory that's catching fire online just as fast as the disasters it claims to explain. The idea that secret, directed energy weapons are behind some of the recent devastating wildfires.
So, picture this. You're scrolling through your social media feed while a terrible wildfire is raging somewhere, and suddenly you see a video with a caption like this. The footage is chaotic, smoke everywhere, and then you see it. These weird, mysterious beams of light cutting right through the haze. And it's not just one video. These kinds of really dramatic claims, often paired with some pretty convincing but totally misleading visuals, they just explode across platforms like TikTok and X. They spread like, wildfire, and they leave a ton of people asking, hey, is there something they're not telling us? All right, so let's get into it. What's the real story here? We're going to peel back the layers of viral speculation and compare it to the actual grounded scientific evidence to figure out what's really happening. First things first, let's break down how this whole thing catches on in the first place. How does a theory like this become a social media wildfire? Okay, so the core idea here is what people are calling the secret weapon theory. But what are they actually claiming is starting these fires? Let's get right to the heart of it. So it all comes down to these things called directed energy weapons, or DEWs. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Lasers, microwaves. The claim is that these DEWs are being used on purpose, not just to start fires in places like California or Hawaii or Texas, but maybe even to steer them. Now, the people who believe this, they point to a few key things as evidence. They'll say that official reports about downed power lines, that's just a cover story. And any weird lights in the sky or unusual planes flying overhead, well, that's the proof that some kind of secret operation is underway. But hold on. Before we even get into fact-checking all that, there's a really important question we need to ask. Why? Why do so many people find this theory so convincing? What makes it stick? And this is really the perfect storm for how misinformation goes viral. It all starts with fear and loss. When you're going through something traumatic like a wildfire, you're desperate for answers, for someone to blame. Then you see a weird flash of light in a shaky video, and boom, it's misinterpreted as proof. And because official investigations take time, there's this information vacuum. And what fills it? Speculation. And all of this gets amplified by social media algorithms that are designed to push the most dramatic, most eye-catching stuff to the top of your feed. Okay, so now let's switch gears and actually follow the evidence. How do these claims stack up when you put them side by side with scientific analysis and good old-fashioned fact-checking? And right away, we hit a major snag in the theory. Those beams of light? Well, fact-checkers and photo experts have looked at these videos, and it turns out a lot of them just show really common things. Like a simple camera lens flare or glowing embers getting kicked up by the wind. Even things like atmospheric distortions or reflections can look super weird and sinister when you're filming through a ton of smoke. Okay, so what about the fires themselves? The claim is they're being started from the sky, right? But what do the actual investigations find? Well, they consistently point to causes that are way more down to earth, though no less devastating. We're talking downed power lines, sparking in high winds, lightning strikes in tinder-dry forests, or even just human carelessness. All of it made 100 times worse by extreme weather and drought conditions. And really, this is the bottom line. You've heard it before. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And while it's easy to get caught up imagining these futuristic space lasers, the simple fact is there is zero verified documentation or physical proof that a directed energy weapon has ever been used to start a wildfire. Anywhere. Ever. Now, you might be thinking, so what? It's just a weird internet theory. But the thing is, it doesn't just stay online. Believing this stuff has serious real-world consequences, especially for the communities actually dealing with these fires. Think about it. When everyone's time and energy is focused on fictional space lasers, we're not talking about the real problems that need fixing. We're not talking about upgrading our ancient power grids or better ways to manage our forests or tackling the very real effects of climate change. Plus, it makes people distrust the actual emergency responders and scientists who are out there on the ground trying to help. That's a huge problem. So, okay, we're all flooded with this kind of stuff online. So how do we navigate it all? How can you spot misinformation and stop yourself from getting swept up in the next panic? It's actually pretty simple. Here's a quick mental toolkit you can use. The next time you see some wild, sensational claim, just hit pause for a second and ask yourself 4 things. 1. Who recorded this? Are they credible? 2. What are some other simpler explanations for what I'm seeing? 3. What are the actual experts, the fire scientists, the investigators, saying about it? And 4, the big one, is there any actual physical proof to back any of this up?
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about debunking one single theory. The real mystery isn't some imaginary beam in the sky. It's the very real fear and mistrust that spreads so easily through our social media feeds. The truth is usually a lot more grounded, a lot more complicated, and learning how to navigate this online world, a world full of smoke and mirrors, well, that's the real fire we all need to figure out how to fight.